All right, welcome back. We're still here on the news review segment of Breakfast Daily. And before we went for the break, we were discussing about the EC denying the request for forensic audit of voters register, offering the opportunity for an updated provisional register, which the NDC say they are standing by to receive and investigate thoroughly. Natche wanted to make some comments before we went for the break. Natche.
And so this morning, Lorato believes that if the NDC calls for an audit of the voters register, it is a waste of taxpayers' money. Then indeed, they set the precedence for it when they called for the same audit ahead of the 2016 election. But what is wastage? And anytime I made Lorato, I asked her that check the words you use in the dictionary properly. Wastage. Has she been to the swimming pool? The 58 million city swimming pool, has Lorato been there?
Which swimming pool you talking
You're
about?
asking me which swimming pool? Yeah. The National Cathedral.
Okay.
If you could scam God, if you could cause such wastage in the presence of God, what can't you do? Today you compare the calls for an audit as waste, and you say it is the same as calling for the audit of the voters register. I think someone needs addition on this platform. And then you see also, he says that we have not submitted any data, any evidence to the Electoral Commission.
The 250,000.
If we haven't, what concerns were the Electoral Commission addressing? If I haven't told you that, David, these are my concerns, which concerns exactly did the Electoral Commission address? And so he needed to correct her that it was the basis, David, let me land. It was the basis of the evidence we had submitted. David, the Pusika matter wasn't an evidence enough. The Jumaku matter wasn't evidence enough. And today they said there is no evidence. So if there was no evidence, what exactly was the EC responding to? And so please, we shouldn't it's too early to come and waste the data of viewers. And says that we are chasing our own shadows. Indeed, we are chasing shadows. I'm saying that whatever Lorato is saying here this morning, they set the precedence for it. Says that wastage is when you call for an audit, says that there is no evidence. I'm not sure she's been in this country. I'm not sure the NPP is actually in touch with the reality of the ordinary Ghanaian. Please do.
Let me read something
Please
for
do.
you. So the story in the Informer here, it says that we won't compromise our independence and integrity. And the story says, Ghana's election management body, the Electoral Commission, EC, yesterday flatly rejected calls for an independent forensic audit of the electoral roll, revealing that the opposition National Democratic Congress has still not provided the Commission with any concrete evidence to warrant the said audit. Your reaction to that statement?
So, David, I am...
Lorato,
yes, David.
You are distracting us.
Okay. I am saying that...
Can I come in now?
I am saying that, David,
I'm asking you to respond.
You read this to me and tell me that the Electoral Commission said we have not provided them with any concrete evidence. Right?
That's what the story says.
That's what the story says. Yeah. And I am saying on this platform that if we haven't provided the Electoral Commission with any concrete evidence, what evidences was the Electoral Commission actually responding to?
Okay,
that
so
we have told. So let me land.
Okay.
What I'm saying is that haven't we told the Electoral Commission that in Ejumako, Enya and 3,000 people were illegally transferred? Okay. In the case of Pusiga, we have also given the details. In Esunafu North, people were transferred from Esunafu North to Nsuatre. We have given the Electoral Commission all these details.
When did you provide that to them?
No, we have met the Electoral Commission at IPAC and we have presented. Okay. Now, of course, IPAC is the platform where you meet the Electoral Commission and not in any corner. So what I'm saying is that if we hadn't provided the Electoral Commission with any of these evidences they are saying, what exactly were they responding to air? They were responding to evidences that the NDC has submitted to them. So it is not the case, let the records reflect, that the NDC had not submitted any evidence. I come to court, I haven't submitted any evidence, so what are you judging? So indeed, the NDC has submitted evidence. And you see, in all this, the Electoral Commission had come to the admission. And as having said that, all the concerns that the NDC has raised, we have solved them. And so if the Electoral Commission contradicts itself on one breath, everything, all the concerns that the NDC has raised with us, we have rectified them. On another breath, they have not given us anything to rectify. And you are telling me that so we should trust the EC. And this moderator is running with such contradiction in her mind that on one breath, you've not given us anything to work with. On another breath, whatever you've given us, we have worked on. And you think that the EC is correct on saying that there is no evidence before them. Please, I beg, it's too early in the morning. The NDC has submitted evidence. And it is that evidence, concrete as it is, that the EC is replying to. That the EC is telling us that, of course, so if we actually summed up transfers from 2022, 2023, and 2024, and so it has increased the transfer numbers, we have actually heard, we would disaggregate it. We actually admit that we did illegal transfers. Okay, so we would return those transfers. Hasn't the EC come to the admission? Even during the recent limited voter registration exercises, the telling they did, it took the NDC to come back to them to tell them that your basic math is wrong. Is that not evidence enough? And so who at this table doesn't understand what evidence means? And who at this table doesn't understand that it was the evidence that was presented that the Electoral Commission is responding to and none other?
David. Right. Yes. Quick one. You have just a minute.
Yes.
We need to make. No, go ahead.
Yes. So what I'm saying is that when you believe that what you're doing is right in your heart, you don't need to raise your voice. You don't need to shout. You don't need to cast insinuation and be talking about dictionary words. That's laughable. Very laughable. If they want to see what we all saw differently, if they want to hear what the other political parties do, I'm sure maybe very soon they'll even be accusing those political parties of supporting the EC or supporting the New Patriotic Party. Reps of parties got up and spoke to the extent that they are wasting our time. And I repeat, they are running away from their shadows. And this is not how elections are won. I don't know whether you've heard that ruling. This is a party that orchestrated 1,000 fraudulent voter transfers in Menchia South constituency. That was reversed by a court competent jurisdiction.
Which one was this are you referring to?
It's a Kumasi Magistrate Court in Ashanti region. Nullified
which news portal?
Okay, Ghana Web. Here is it. That's it. You can read it out if that's
it's right. It's
yeah.
Fine.
So in a significant ruling, the Kumasi Magistrate Court in the Ashanti region has nullified over 1,000 fraudulent voter transfers to Menchia South constituency. The court presided over by her worship, Deborah Jewa Donko, delivered the verdict on Tuesday, September 24th, 2024, ordering the Electoral Commission of Ghana to revert the affected voters to their original constituency. The transfers allegedly orchestrated by the National Democratic Congress were challenged by lawyer Nana J. Bafuewu, the New Patriotic Party MPP parliamentary candidate for Menchia South. These are the people we are talking about. So if she wants to sit here and personalize it and make it about me, it's just laughable.
Okay.
Because
David,
these people, that's why I'm saying that. That's why I'm saying that.
Today, Lorenzo says that the NDC is the Electoral Commission that does transfers. What is Lorenzo talking about?
Let's be civil here.
Let's be civil here.
If she wants to call you, if she wants to call you out, she can do that. Because for them, David, please.
Let's make progress.
But I think you need to be fair to let her keep quiet. Nobody's fighting here.
No. Land on your points. Let's
David, what I'm saying is, this is a group of people. Till date, they can't tell us the elections, the results they collected in 2020. Yesterday, in the full glare of Ghanaians, we all saw the live telecast. They will see something differently, right? But what I'm saying is, and I repeat, they should stop wasting people's time. They should stop wasting citizens' time and go out and campaign and go out and learn how to collate results and go out and learn how to use calculators and stop talking about words in dictionary and English. We need to tell them because they are wasting our time. The time that the EC, I'm sure that, and I said, the time that the EC spent yesterday, over 3 hours, live telecast on various platforms could have been used to work on the same register that they are complaining about. What is evidence? How many names did they mention? How many evidence? And when EC said, bring the 250,000 you have, because we did the exhibition to be able to correct some of these anomalies. We are on it. We are doing it. You saw what the IT department presented yesterday at the EC. Isn't it contrary to what she's saying? So they can believe their own lies. They can mistrust everybody. But what I'm saying is elections are won by endearing the voters, not antagonizing the EC. It's about learning how to collate results. It's about training your polling agents so they can know the difference between figures. It's about knowing how to use a calculator so that at the end of the day, when you want to challenge, you have evidence, not talking in the air with no evidence. Because when the New Patriotic Party challenges anything, we have evidence.
Thank you very much. We need to make progress. All right. We will take a look at the next story. It says here, fight against galamsey. Organized labor is set to strike. I read that a little earlier. I'll just do a snippet of that before I get your responses. So organized labor is set, this is from ChannelOneNews.com. Organized labor is set to embark on a nationwide strike October 10th. Organized labor has announced a nationwide strike set to commence on October 10, 2024 in response to ongoing dissatisfaction with the government's perceived inaction regarding the environmental destruction caused by illegal mining, commonly known as galamsey. Let me just, I won't go further into the story there because I read it earlier. Loratu.
Yeah, David.
Yes.
Organized labor has made fair demands. And in their 17 December, 17 September. Release, they indicated in it that government had asked for some time to deal with the issues that they raised. I mean, the havoc that galamsey is wrecking, it's about trying to solve a problem. I don't think we should also push for causing another problem in the name of solving a problem.
Which is what?
The call to ban small-scale mining, right, as against galamsey. Galamsey is already an illegality that must be fought. And in the height of all the calls, after a national security meeting, the president instructed that security must be deployed to all these areas. But this is small-scale mining with some 3 million, 4 million people benefiting from it. It's also one of the contributors to our gold production, which is about 40% of it, right? So in calling for that, those stakeholders, they also need to be engaged. Those requests they have made are fair requests. I mean, what can organized labor do? Who make up a chunk of the citizenry? It's the labor force. If the labor force is not healthy, it affects all aspects of the economy. And it's an economy that is rebounding. So it has to be negotiation and all that. Yesterday, they came back and said they are announcing a strike. And by law, they have to give some number of days, I think 7 days, to government to prepare. There's still engagements going on. The ad hoc committee that met them is still also meeting other stakeholders. Don't also forget that organized labor is made up of various categories of people based in public and private. And most of them also run most of the essential services we have. So the time that the notice that they've given, it's ample time. And I think the stakeholder engagement that are going on should be intensified. And that is what government is doing. So,
but one thing that I find a bit disturbing and disheartening is that the president hasn't come out to clearly speak on this matter ever since the call started to be made. Yes. I'm not sure why. He had prime opportunity to do so at the GJA 28th award ceremony, but he said nothing. You don't speak for the president per se, but I'm not sure if you have any thoughts on this.
David, I'm wondering what you want the president to say when he sets up an ad hoc committee.
He should react to the commentary.
React and say what?
And say what his thoughts are and what his plans are.
So he says what his thoughts are.
And his plans are. Yeah.
So the instruction he gave after the national security meeting doesn't count. That security should be deployed. The ad hoc committee he set up to engage organized labor is not an action he has taken. David, as a leader, you put people in charge to engage. Other issues are coming up now. And don't also forget that these issues about water and all those things goes beyond Galamsey. I was intrigued to learn that even the lead that we are talking about has nothing to do with Galamsey. It's actually residue from other industrial works. Then that's why a couple of weeks ago I mentioned that what about Wager? There's no artisanal mining going there. There's no Galamsey going there.
Yeah,
so
but Densu feeds the Wager.
That's
and
what,
Potra said they are mining right
David,
now as we speak.
David, the water comes in there. I don't think the water as Wager is as bad as what is in the Pra. You get it? So we are talking about water, our livelihood. And I keep saying that the water that is coming into your pipes doesn't know you, David, doesn't know me, doesn't know Na. So those issues need to be tackled and tackled properly so that we don't go back to we've tackled Galamsey. But there are other issues that are coming up that are still compromising the purity of the water bodies that have to be processed for us to be used. There have been predictions since 2014 on Ghana, if not taking care, importing water in 2030. 2017, small-scale mining was banned and all that. Water started clearing up. We know what happened in 2020 with our own compatriots encouraging people to do it. Issues are, but for me, definitely the president needs to come out and but he set up people to engage and do certain things. I would be very, very surprised if the teams that he set up haven't briefed him for him to, what if he comes to say, and there are other findings apart from what he said? Is it about just the president talking? It's about us coming together and making sure that
I think it's about us feeling confident in the president that he's actually taking action.
So that is what
this is why Organized Labour is saying that perceived inaction is what has led them to say 10th October they're going on.
Yes, that is what I'm saying. But 10th October, today is what, 2nd October, right? 10th October is about 7-8 days away. Yeah. There's still engagements going on. But what I want to maintain is that those are fair demands they are making, and nobody begrudges Organized Labour for that.
Naturally.
David, so you see, the elephant is an animal, and a very destructive one for that matter.
Okay.
But the levels of destruction that we have seen under this MPP, coupled with their arrogance, their irresponsibility, and their complicitness in the act is nauseating, to say the least. We were in this country when the president says, I have put my job on the line to end Galamsey. And after the president tasked a committee, interministerial committee on illegal mining, to work and give us a roadmap towards fighting Galamsey, find culprits and see who are actually engaged in this act so that the laws would deal with them. You tell me, David, what did the president do when the report reached him? On Galamsey, I was looking at Loretta and she's stammering. She's actually conjugating sentences that are not complete. She hasn't even made one complete thought of a sentence. It should tell you that, see, for the president to actually confiscate the report for well over 2 years tells you that the NPP are not just enablers of Galamsey. They have become complicit. They are neck deep and hands deep in Galamsey. But let me ask you this morning, that President Akufo-Addo and Dr. Bawumia even care about us? They don't care. They are destroying our waters and accumulating wealth in sums of $10 million to their daughters, so that just in case we get to a time where it is now the time to import water, their families can import water. While we die.
What's your basis of your...
What I'm saying is that the president has given his daughters in excess of 10 million contracts in ambulance spare parts, so that at least they have accumulated enough wealth. When Ghana gets to the situation where it is time to import water, they can import water. Now they're already bathing in the sky. So what is importation of water? They can do it. But let me say that, you see, labor is the heart and the soul of every economy that we want to thrive. And for me, I am in full support of the strike. Do you know why?
Why?
The elephant is stiff-necked, if that's the word, and does not understand engagements, like Rahat was saying, does not understand, let's come to the table and talk. So I am for stiffer measures to get the president to work. Leadership is not about talking, David. Leadership is about results. Show results. Let the records reflect. It is only under President Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo and Dr. Bawumia that every age bracket of this country has demonstrated. We have toddlers demonstrating against the president. Did you see the picture of like the 4-year-old in that demonstration before this one? Did you see the recent one of about 8 to 10-year-old? Did you see the vulnerable sections of the population that the NPP is destroying? They have become terrorists in this matter. And for me, I think that whether the president, declares the state of emergency or not, the state of emergency is upon us. Let me run you through the demands of organized labor. But before I come to that, I always say, and I repeat on this platform, when it comes to low-hanging fruits, e-levy, they will bus sick people. They will put people on wheelchairs to come and vote in favor of e-levy. Then they will turn hypocrites and say that we are actually abolishing e-levy. The same e-levy you battled Ghanaians over, the same e-levy you held our necks over. Why? And it's the same cabinet that brought this upon us. We should trust them to come back, cause distractions, and give me an opportunity to come and actually reverse.
Less than a minute to go for the end of the show.
What I'm saying is that the demands of organized, you have to please keep quiet. The demands of organized labor is that, one, they want the revocation of the LI 2464. Laura, to keep quiet and be decent.
Please, just finish
up. Laura, to be decent.
I will end the show. Please finish
What I'm
up.
saying is that the elephant is an animal and is distracting, but shouldn't distract the show. What I'm also saying is that, see, the only reason why we are where we are is because party here, Sika. The NPP said they need money for their campaign. They need money for their party. And for that reason, they will kill even unborn children. They will cause their deformity so that their party can thrive. And then you think that we should trust them with our lives? I would urge every Ghanaian. See, if you want to live, if you trust that this life you have is very precious, and you wouldn't let an elephant in the name of an animal distract or destroy your life, it is now the time for you to make a decision to vote against the elephant on 7th December 2020.
Let me just say a big thank you to my guest this morning. I have had, and the one who's speaking now is Na Atre Niokpe. She is the NDC, a member of the NDC communications team, as well as Oratu Musasaka, who is a member of the MPP communications team. We'll take a quick break. We'll be right back.